Do you have trouble remembering English words? Is it difficult for you to increase your vocabulary? In today's lesson, I'm going to show you some ways that you can easily increase your English vocabulary. Welcome back. This is a Goodwin English lesson, and I am your teacher, Randy League. So, English vocabulary. Difficult, right? Sometimes it feels like it's impossible to learn more words. No matter what you do, you just can't remember the words that you studied. Should you make a list and study those words? Should you read more books? How can you improve your vocabulary? Well, that's a good question. And today, I'm going to show you some easy ways that you can improve your vocabulary. Start a vocabulary journal. So, what is a vocabulary journal? A vocab journal is pretty simple. It's a notebook where you write all of the new words that you learn. But we can do better than just writing the words. We should also write the sentence that we see the word in. This will give us a little context and will help us understand how to use that word. Of course, we should write the meaning of that word. And if we have time, we should also write some synonyms. Synonyms are words that have similar meanings. For example, let's say that I'm reading a book and I see the word huge. I don't know the word huge, so I write in my notebook, huge. Then I write the sentence that I saw the word in. Jennifer always thought that her house was very large, but when she first saw Susan's house, she was shocked at how huge it was. Next, we want to write the meaning of the word. This can be the English dictionary meaning, or it could be your own native language meaning. Last, let's write some synonyms of the word huge. For example, big, large, enormous. This is how you make a vocab journal. You can use a normal notebook, or you can even buy some already made vocab journals online. Watch more TV and movies. One of the easiest ways to increase your vocabulary is to watch TV shows, movies, or English YouTube videos. Now, there are a couple of ways to do this. First, you have to think about your level of English. Are you a beginner? Are you an intermediate student? Are you an advanced student? A beginner should not be watching BBC or CNN News to increase their vocabulary. Try to watch a TV show with the subtitles on. When you hear a word that you don't understand, pause the video. Write that word down in your vocabulary journal. Then, play the rest of the video. Try to write down 5 to 10 words that you don't know. When you finish the video, go back to your vocab journal and look those words up. Add the original sentences, and if you have time, add a couple of synonyms. Another way for you to watch a TV show is the first time you watch it, don't use any subtitles. Just watch it. Then, when you finish, write a short paragraph about what you think happened in that video. Then, go back, watch the video again. This time, turn on your native language subtitles. Was your paragraph correct? Were you right? Then the third time, watch the video again, but this time use the English subtitles. When you see a word you don't understand, add it to your vocabulary journal. Read leveled books. Leveled books are great for improving your vocabulary because you're learning a new word in a story, and it's easier to remember. And many of these books have practice questions to help you remember these words. So, what is a leveled book? Leveled books are books that are specifically made for English students. They take famous old stories like Robinson Crusoe or Frankenstein, and they change the vocabulary and the grammar. So, if it's a level 1 book, then they are changing the vocabulary and the grammar to a beginner's level, so that it is easier for beginners to understand. If they're changing Frankenstein, then maybe they're changing it to an intermediate level of vocabulary and grammar. So you can use these different levels to help you slowly improve your vocabulary and your reading. I mean, really, they're great. And very often, at the end of the book, they have practice exercises for each chapter of the book. Now, let me give you a couple of hints on using a leveled book. Try to read for 5 to 10 minutes. When you see a word that you don't understand, don't stop reading. Try to guess the meaning of that word using the context of the story. Try to guess the meaning of that word using the other sentences in that story. Then, when you finish reading, go back, choose 5 to 10 words that you didn't know. Now be careful. There might be more than 10 words that you didn't understand, but don't write all of them down. That will probably take too much time. So choose 5 to 10 words, write those words in your vocab journal, write the meanings, and write the sentences. If you are understanding more than 85 to 90% of the words in that book, you could go ahead and move up a level. Try a more difficult level book. Use new words in conversations as soon as possible. One of the easiest and most important ways to improve your vocabulary is to use any new word that you learn. The best way is to use the word in a conversation. But even if you are watching a video or you're listening to a podcast, if you hear that word, then that can help as well. What I tell my students to do is before your next class, look at your vocabulary journal. Take some of the words that you just learned, and in your head, try to think of a conversation where you could use those words. In my classes, very often we start class with a short, warm-up, free conversation. So basically, I separate the students into groups of 2, and then I tell them to have a short conversation about future plans or what they did last weekend, or really anything. So I tell my students to use those new words in that conversation. I used to do this myself when I studied Japanese. I would study a lesson, write some new words down in my vocab journal, and let's say that the lesson was on cooking or Japanese food. I would go to a restaurant or a small pub, sit down by myself at the counter and just start up conversations with the people around me, or the cook, or the waitress. And I would steer the conversation towards talking about Japanese food or cooking Japanese food. This would give me a chance to use all of the words that I just studied. This really helped me remember those new words. Study word families. This tip is more for people who are studying for a particular test, like the TOEIC, TOEFL, or IELTS test. Many of these tests will have questions where 4 answer choices are all the same base word. For example, answer choice A is safety, answer choice B is safe, answer choice C is safely, and answer choice D is safer. These are word families. Words that have the same basic meaning, but are different parts of speech. For example, safety is a noun, safe is an adjective, safely is an adverb. Many of these tests have these types of questions, so it can be useful to write down word families in your vocabulary journal when you learn a new word. Use a card system. There are many very useful flashcard apps that you can use on your phone or on your computer. One of the most popular is called Anki. It's available for Android and iPhones. To use Anki, you first create a flashcard in the way you're used to, a word or a phrase on one side and a definition on the other side. You then organize these cards into different decks based on whatever information you're trying to learn. Once you're ready to study, Anki will show you one side of each card. When you think you have the answer, you flip the card over to reveal it. After you revealed the answer, Anki will ask you to rate how difficult it was for you to remember the answer. Based on this difficulty rating, Anki will decide when to show you the card again. This could be as soon as a few minutes from now, or it could be as long as a month. The idea behind this is to review information only when you're about to forget it. This way, you spend the most time studying the things that are difficult for you, and you don't waste time reviewing information you already know. But there are many other apps that you can use. For example, there's Quizlet, Brainscape, a lot more. Of course, you can also create your own flashcards as well. Just remember to add sentences to the cards. Many people will only write the meanings, but sentences can help. Watch Goodwin English's vocab lessons. Of course, you don't have to watch my vocabulary lessons. You can watch any vocabulary lessons on YouTube. But there are many good videos that teach vocabulary on YouTube. Many of these videos also have different practice exercises that you can use to help you remember those words. So sit down at your computer, open up your vocab journal, choose a good vocab lesson, maybe Goodwin English lesson, maybe. Watch it, write down any new words, and like always, look those words up in a dictionary and write down the meanings in your vocab journal. And if possible, try to use those new words in a conversation. Today's homework is really easy. I just gave you a bunch of ways that you can improve your vocabulary. In the comments section below, tell me which way you think is best for you. Well, that's it for today's lesson. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments section below. If you liked today's lesson, please hit the like button somewhere and subscribe to our channel. Again, somewhere around here. My name is Randy League, and I will see you later.